Hey guys, welcome on board. In this first part of the advanced guide, let's look at the Shipboard Familiarization Checklist, the document that is one of the first you will have to deal with when joining the ship. In accordance with the STCW convention, all seafarers who are newly employed on board the ship should be given a reasonable opportunity to become familiar with the shipboard equipment, operating procedures, and other arrangements needed for the proper performance of their duties before being assigned to those duties. When you come on board, you'll be familiarized with the ship by the third officer that you are going to relieve. And then, using this checklist, you'll show the ship to other newcomers and explain everything in detail. From company to company, these checklists vary, but in common they contain the same information. So, let's go through one of these shipboard checklists, as well as go through the ship with it. So, usually, the Shipboard Familiarization Checklist consists of several parts, such as familiarization of all crew members, regardless of functions, familiarization of deck officers, familiarization of engineers, and familiarization of passengers. Some checklists also are divided into parts based on when familiarization must be completed, like on the day of joining the ship, within 48 hours, etc. Necessary safety-related items have to be covered before sailing or within 1 day respectively. The other items shall be covered within 1 week. After completion, the checklist will be signed by the respective crew members and countersigned by the master. The signed checklist remains in the shipboard file. So first, let's see what all crew members must be familiarized with. Watchkeeping procedure, at sea and in port. At sea, the third officer usually keeps navigation watches 4 hours on and 8 hours off, from 0800 to 1200 and from 2000 to 2400, taking over the watch from the chief officer and handing over the watch to the second officer. In port, he keeps cargo watches 6 hours on and 6 hours off, from 0600 to 1200 and from 1800 to 2400, sharing the day with the second officer. If there's a junior officer on board, the cargo watch may be the same as the navigation watch, 4 hours on and 8 hours off. Usually also the third officer has 2 hours of overtime work when he's busy with maintenance of safety equipment. Exact duties usually are described in company SMS and handover notes that the leaving third officer will give you. Alarm signals for general alarm, abandoning ship, automatic generated fire alarm. Which alarm signals are used on board you can find in the muster list and your cabin card. Usually they are following. General emergency alarm. 7 or more short blasts followed by 1 prolonged blast on the ship's whistle and internal bells. Used for fire, collision, or immediate danger, requiring all crew to go to muster stations. Fire alarm. Automatically generated. A continuous ringing of the bell or siren indicating fire detection. Abandoned ship alarm. A specific signal, often verbal by the master, that follows the general alarm, indicating the vessel must be abandoned. Man overboard alarm. Usually 3 long blasts, indicating someone has fallen overboard. Fixed fire extinguishing system alarm. CO2, automatically generated. A distinct, very loud audio-visual alarm that sounds before discharging CO2 or foam into cargo or machinery spaces. But usually, except automatic generated fire alarms, only the general alarm is used with further announcement of the reason. General alarm push buttons are usually located on the navigation bridge and emergency headquarters. Additional manual call points, red boxes, are strategically installed throughout the vessel, particularly near exits, stairway landings, and corridors, ensuring accessibility to all crew members. Location of muster list. According to SOLAS, muster lists must be posted in conspicuous, highly visible locations throughout the ship, particularly where they can be easily referenced by crew. Usually those locations are navigation bridge, engine control room, and all crew accommodation decks. Don't forget also that the muster list with names of newcomers shall be prepared before the ship proceeds to sea. Location of fire and safety plan. The fire control plan must be permanently exhibited in conspicuous, highly visible locations for the guidance of the ship's officers. These typically include navigation bridge, engine control room, and accommodation areas. A duplicate set of fire control plans or a booklet containing the plans must be stored in a prominently marked, weather-tight enclosure located outside the deckhouse for the assistance of shoreside firefighting personnel. Location of fire extinguisher and of hoses and nozzles. Location, number, and kinds of fire extinguishers you can find on Fire Control and Safety Plan. Fire extinguishers are placed according to the likely fire source: CO2 near electronics, navigation bridge and control rooms, foam near oil, engine room, dry powder, accommodation areas, wet chemical, the galley, with at least one extinguisher located near the entrance of any major space. Operation of fire extinguisher. The steps how to operate a fire extinguisher you can find printed on it or in the fire training manual. Most portable fire extinguishers on board ships, powder, water, foam, and carbon dioxide are operated using the Universal Pass algorithm. This is an international standard that is easy to remember. Pull the pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze the lever, sweep, move the hose from side to side. Location of alarm activating devices. Location of alarm activating devices you can find on Fire Control and Safety Plan. They are general emergency alarm. The main activation device, contact maker, must be located on the navigation bridge. Manual call points, the red break glass buttons that allow the crew to raise the alarm manually, installed at each exit to the open deck, near stairwells and in corridors. Smoke detectors, located in cabins, corridors, stairways, and public areas. CO2 start alarm, activated automatically when the door of the control cabinet for starting the volumetric fire extinguishing system is opened. Ship Security Alert System is a silent alarm system to protect ships from piracy and terrorism. SOLAS requires at least 2 hidden alarm activation push buttons. One should be on the navigation bridge, and the other should be in another location accessible to the crew but hidden from view, e.g. in the captain's cabin or control room. Location of breathing apparatus, EEBD, heat protective suit. Location of breathing apparatus, EEBD, and heat protective suit you can find on Fire Control and Safety Plan. Breathing apparatus and heat protective suit are part of the fireman's outfit that usually you can find in special fire cabinets or at fire stations that typically are located in the superstructure, emergency headquarters, and forward in the bosun store or engine room. Emergency escape breathing devices, EEBD, are intended only for exiting smoke-filled rooms. They are located in corridors along escape routes, in the engine control room, in the workshop, and near the evacuation ladders on each deck of the engine room. Spares are usually stored on the bridge or in the control room. Location and donning of life vest. Location of life vest, life jacket, you can find on Fire Control and Safety Plan. In your cabin, you should have your personal life jacket and immersion suit. The donning instruction is usually printed on it. Also, you can find all instructions in the SOLAS training manual that is kept on board a ship. To don a SOLAS certified life jacket, follow these basic steps. Place the vest in front of you, put it on over your head, fasten the waist belt, connect the buckles at the waist, and tighten them as tightly as possible. Secure the neck chest straps. Location of muster station. Location of muster station you can find on Muster List, your cabin card, and Fire Control and Safety Plan. Usually the muster station is located on open, lower decks near lifeboats. Means of escape from the engine room. According to SOLAS, at least 2 widely separated independent means of escape must be provided from every engine room, machinery space. These typically include vertical steel trunks, ladders, and stairways leading to the open deck, designed to prevent heat smoke inhalation. Vertical escape trunks are frequently used for quick exit, often leading from the lower platform of the engine room to the top deck or aft toward the steering gear compartment. Location of emergency stops for fuel supply. Emergency stops, quick closing valves for ship fuel supply, are located commonly in the engine control room, navigation bridge, and outside the engine room entrance at designated fire control stations. These remote-operated stops allow for rapid fuel cutoff in emergencies, with actuators typically situated in accessible, safe areas away from potential fire risks. Location of emergency fire pump and emergency generator and activating. Their location you also can find on Fire and Safety Control Plan. Emergency fire pump is usually located in a dedicated compartment outside the engine room or forward in the bow thruster room. Usually you can start it from the navigation bridge, engine control room, or its dedicated compartment, like the bow thruster room. Emergency generator is usually located far from the main engine room, often in the superstructure, to prevent a single fire from disabling both main and emergency power. The generator starts automatically when a blackout is sensed. An emergency generator on a ship can be started from the emergency generator room or remotely from the engine control room and bridge. Location of first aid equipment. In addition to the main ship's medical chest and lifeboat and life raft first aid kits, usually there are a couple more places with first aid kits, like the bridge, engine room, and galley. Communication ways and methods in case of an emergency. Internal, on board, emergency communications include, as we already discussed, general emergency alarm, a signal of 7 short blasts, followed by 1 long blast on the ship's whistle and internal alarm system, repeated at least 3 times. Public address, PA system, used for clear voice instructions from the bridge, often superior to alarms in high-noise areas. Sound-powered telephones, these operate without electricity, allowing communication between key stations, bridge, engine room, steering gear, even during a total power failure situation. Portable UHF walkie-talkies, used by fire teams or deck crews, often intrinsically safe, explosion-proof. Whom to notify in case of an emergency. On board, you should inform the bridge and notify the master if something happens. Use VHF Channel 16 or DSC, Digital Selective Calling button for a Mayday call to the nearest Coast Guard or Maritime Rescue Coordination Center. So guys, use of GMDSS equipment usually is a separate topic for nautical officers and is not part of familiarization for all crew members. Usually it is company policy that access to GMDSS equipment must have only a certified officer. Functions and activities according to emergency response plans. Emergency response plans on ships are structured procedures designed to ensure rapid, coordinated action to protect lives, the environment, and the vessel. These plans, often integrated into the Safety Management System, SMS, under ISM code requirements, define specific roles, assembly points, and actions for various scenarios. In short, this is a document which describes what to do during fire, abandoned ship, man overboard, oil spill, flooding, etc. Your personal duties you can find in the muster list. Hard copies of this document are usually located in designated places, like the ship's office and the bridge. Soft copy is located in the ship's computer, usually as part of the company SMS. Location of garbage management plan and garbage storage areas. Use of garbage management plan. A garbage management plan outlines written procedures for collecting, storing, processing, and disposing of waste, with designated storage areas, often near machinery spaces or away from accommodation, that allow for sorting, compaction, and secure storage. Hard copies of this document are usually located in designated places, like the ship's office and the bridge. Soft copy is located in the ship's computer, usually as part of the company SMS. The crew is also usually familiarized with garbage bin colors on board and in cabins, and what kind of garbage each bin is used for. Location and use of manuals. So guys, the location of other manuals and booklets mentioned further in this checklist is the same as previous plans, in designated places, usually the ship's office and bridge. Just accept training manuals that must be provided in each crew mess room and recreation room, or in each crew cabin. Information on shipboard security. Regarding security on board, usually the crew is informed and shown the location of the citadel, the place where all hide from pirates, and, if any, the password for entering the citadel, to tell if everybody has hidden and the door is closed, but you are left outside. Okay guys, such as the familiarization checklist of all crew members, which they must sign, and then it must be signed by the master. There are also checklists for deck officers and engineers that I think there is no reason to go through. You can just check other videos about navigational bridge equipment on this YouTube channel. The checklist for engineers is used only for engineers, and familiarization is performed by an assigned engineer. And the checklist for passengers is nearly the same as for all crew. Thus, guys, thank you for attention. Hope this video was useful for you. Hit like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.